Can I save Wolves this season? They are currently the worst team in Premier League history. Now, recently, in the last couple of games, they've been relatively good. They might beat Derby County's record if they keep it up, but if they have another dip in form, they could well easily be the worst team in Premier League history. So Wolves board have decided that they're going to hire me, LeetardPlays, to see if we can save their season, make sure that they stay in the Prem and also become just an average team in Premier League history rather than the worst. You can see we're bottom of the table. We've got 14 points between us and Nottingham Forest, who are in safety. We've got 17 games to do it. We can do it. I sent out some scouts to France. They can scout some midfielders. I feel like we need midfielders. We're going to stick with our 5 at the back, a 5-3-2. I think it's a solid formation, especially with the 2 strikers up top. Happy enough with the attackers. Now we have got some wingers, such as Lopez. We've got Mane and even Arias that we can play up top. I'm not going to be playing with wingers, so they're going to have to either bounce between midfield and striker. So I think that's probably the best way to do it. But we'll have a look. We'll scout some midfielders. We'll see what happens. But as it stands, I'm very happy with the squad that we actually have. This squad is good enough to stay in the Premier League. Maybe we should go for a right back, but I'm not too fussed. So as we do with this series, we play it. Well, we don't play it. We sim the first game, and then afterwards, we go to the transfer window, and then we just sim to month by month until the end of the season. In real life, Wolves won 6-1 in this game. Today, we're going to see what we can do. Now, of course, our injured players on the bench, we're going to have to move around, but we got knocked out by Shrewsbury Town. Okay, we're already doing worse than Wolves in real life. LeetardPlays might not be a good manager. We failed with Man United. We might as well fail with Wolves. And after that loss to Shrewsbury Town in the FA Cup, we've got Hoover, Sa and Doherty all saying that they don't see the future at the club. I don't blame you, lads. I don't blame you. Right, we found this youth player, Adam Kent, already in the academy. I think we'll promote him. Now, he probably won't play, but we're definitely going to promote him. So, probably in the first instance of Can I Save Their Season where we're promoting a youth player. But look, we're going to have to sell some players, I think, especially with everyone wanting to leave with how bad we've been doing. I think it's only fair we give the academy a shot. Juan Ki-chan is lost. He's left. There we go. As I said, people want to leave. I need a bit of cash dollars so we can get some better players in, or at least some that can fit some form of system. So, unfortunately, he was a casualty. Right, first signing. We are going to attempt to sign Lamine Camara from 35 million. There we go. That's sorted. Now we just need to negotiate a contract with him. Right, he is signed. We have Camara now officially a member of the club, so you'd love to see that. Right, so that's my midfield signing done. I only wanted one. Now, I did see Valentin Barco is available. It's just if we have enough money for him. Here you see, he can play left back, I'm thinking. But I don't think if we buy him, we'd have to get him at a cut price deal. Because I cannot afford him at the moment. I was looking at Sugawara for right back, but he's out on loan, so I can't do that. I thought he would have been fine. There was Hickey, but it looks like he's out on loan, so I'm not really sure we can do that either. And then there's this Parisi, but that's left back, and yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's the option I'm looking for. At least with Barco, he can also play midfield as well. That's why I was more into getting Valentin Barco in. I also want Batshuayi, but I don't think that's going to be happening. Right, so unfortunately, the only sign we could get was Kamara in midfield. But both midfield by a good bit. But unfortunately, I couldn't get in Barco, and I couldn't get in right back that I wanted. They were the two areas that I particularly wanted to upgrade, but it didn't work. So instead, we've got John Arias filling in at right back at the moment. This is well, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, let's have a look at how we done in January. Right, so we can ignore the West Ham win and the Everton draw. We're only in charge of 4 games in January, which was the loss to Shrewsbury Town, 3-1 on penalties in the FA Cup, 4-1 loss against Newcastle, 2-1 loss against City. Those 2 losses are respectable enough, and then we win 3-1 against Bournemouth. So, what does that do for the league? Well, let me tell you, we're still bottom, but we are 1 point away from drawing with Derby County, which we should be able to get. We've got how many games left? 14 matches left. We should be able to get at least 2 points there to avoid being the worst team. But safety is 12 points away. It was 14, it's now 12. So we are reducing it. It's just, can we do it? Can we make it? We've got Chelsea next. We've got a bad run of form coming up. The fixtures are Chelsea, Forest, Palace, Villa. 3 points out of 12. I'd probably take that. But we need to start picking up some more points. So let's see how we do for February. I can see from the manager rating we're not doing too good. We might need to swap up the formation. Thinking 4-3-3, my classic formation. How do we do? Oh, we got 4 points. I was only expecting 3. We got 4 points. We lost against Chelsea. That's fine. Bet Forest, drew a Palace, and lost to Villa. I think that's actually very standard. Now, it depends how the rest of the teams are doing. Ooh, it's gone up to 13 points. We've got Liverpool next. Look, we're not the worst team in Premier League history. That's the main thing. We've got 10 games to go. I am in danger of getting sacked. I am going to change the team around. And I am going to go for my classic. Now, when I said I was going for a classic 4-3-3, I meant this is the old formation from like FIFA 15, 16 that I used to use with the attacking midfielder. The older I got, the more defensive I went. And I had the defensive midfielder in there. We're going to try this. We need to win games, so we're going to have to take a bit of risk. And that's what we're doing. We can still avoid relegation. It's just, it's going to be real tough. Alright, we've got 3 games in March. We've got Liverpool, Brentford, and Arsenal. I take a point, but unfortunately we need more than that. We've only got 10 games left. We need better. And there we go. I got sacked. I couldn't finish mid-table, which I lost 3-2 to Liverpool. In fact, I actually think the results that I got weren't actually too bad. They weren't great. But what we're going to do is we're just going to take a random job and we're just going to see how the club does until the end of the season. Right, well, I think it's only fitting that we go for Derby County, who were the worst in Premier League history, considering that's what we were trying to avoid, which we did avoid, so we'll go with Derby. Of course, this is only just to see until the end of the season. That's literally all it is, just to see how Wolves do.
A warm welcome to you all.
So just for reference, we were 20'd, but 29 games played on 14 points when we got sacked. Let's see what happens when we go straight to the end of the season. Right, it's a moment of truth. So with Derby, we avoided relegation, but we were 18th when we took over the 19th. They're not important. What important is, how do Wolves do? Right, here we go. So Arsenal won the league. Yeah, I think that's pretty standard. United are 8th. Yeah, well, that's actually good for them. Right, we're getting closer. Spurs 15th. Fucking hell, they're shy. Right. They did not avoid relegation. They didn't. Here we go. They finished 19th. They finished ahead of Burnley, so they gained 11 points since they went. And there's also a game in hand that's still left. So they could finish on 28 points. I'm going to make sure... I thought that would have been the end of the season. I thought I had my dates correct, but we'll find out. Right, that was embarrassing. Anyway, so they finished on 28 points. They got 14 points after I left. Maybe it was just me that was the problem. Either way, they still got relegated. They must have beaten a lot of the bigger clubs, because you had a few big clubs coming up. They must have beaten a few of them in order to get that many points. Well, anyway, to answer the question, can I save Wolves this season? No, I couldn't. In fact, I nearly ruined Derby County's season when I got thrown there. What a disaster. But look, Wolves called me in. They called in LeetardPlays to manage. Obviously, they didn't learn from my terrible stint at United. But look, the next one, whatever the next club is, we'll do better. We've got to see what club my agent's able to get me.